Welcome Thundercat fans to another Third Earth Reviews toy review, and today I will be reviewing the Thundercats villain Hammerhand. Hammerhand was released in Series 2 and 3 of the LJN Thundercats toy line in 1986 and 1987. Hammerhand is easily one of the stranger Thundercat characters in the original cartoon, so it's understandable that his figure is just as unusual. He is larger than most of the LJN Thundercat figures, standing at about almost the same height as Mumm-Ra the Ever-Living, and with his large hand and leg, he is bulkier than most of the other figures as well. He has some interesting sculpted details for his face that really stand out against the other figures in this series. Unlike most of the LJN Thundercat packaging, the Berserkers had unique card backs. Each of the card backs was designed with a hole in the middle of the cardboard that had a clear plastic bubble. The figure would sit in the bubble, showcasing the figure from both the front and the back. This was most likely due to the size of the figure compared to the rest of the series. Each Berserker card had an individual artwork that depicted the battlematic action of the figure. Hammerhand's was holding Panthro in a closed fist. On the back of the card, there was an illustration of the battlematic action. Hammerhand had the same basic articulation as most of the LJN Thundercats. His head could turn left and right, his arms could move up and down, and his legs could move forward and backwards. There was some limitation to his movement. His head sculpt made it difficult to turn left and right, so it was more of a tilt instead of a turn. In addition, while his battlematic action did not limit his arm movement, the much larger arm was a little cumbersome at times. The Berserkers had unique battlematic actions as well. In Hammerhand's case, his battlematic action was a grip and shake attack. By squeezing the trigger and using the levers on his right arm allowed Hammerhand to grab and shake his enemies in an inescapable fist. However, even with the slightly rubbery fingers, Hammerhand unfortunately could not grip a normal-sized Thundercat around the waist like the packaging depicted. There are a few known problems for this figure, the most common being that his purple tubes that are supposed to connect to his back almost always disconnect on loose figures. Thankfully, these tubes do not affect his battlematic action, as they were merely a cosmetic detail. Another known problem is that the trigger to open and close his hand tends to wear down over time, so it can be a little difficult to release or open. Finally, the silver paint used for his boot, face, and back can rub off easily over time, similar to what we've seen with Grun the Destroyer's armor. There is one variation of Hammerhand. The playful version has black tubes instead of the LJN purple, both horns are yellow instead of just the one, and both his right arm and left boot are black instead of silver. Neither versions of Hammerhand came with any accessories. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you can check out all my other reviews. In my next Thundercat review, I will be taking a look at the Thundercat hero, Mumm-Ra. So, until then, this has been Third Earth Reviews.